good week. Smoke a lot of weed. Drink a lot of booze. Get some sniz, man. Some snizzle. Maybe a little schnitzel. Und ja, das Schnitzel. Und Scheiße. Und Schnitzel und Scheiße. Sounds good, right? Nah, man. That don't sound right. That sounds like a big motherfucking mistake. Time to abort that fucking fetus. Holy shit. Once again, this is comedy. Welcome back to another week of weakness. Where we shit on everything, including ourselves. Because everything is comedy, man. Even the worst fucking tragedy is funny to somebody. And I'm not saying that to glorify it or make it right or wrong, because, look, we all have our own little personal code of honor, ethics, if you will. And nobody wants to cross their own line. But sometimes you gotta. Sometimes it's important to take a unnecessary risk. I mean, if you've been living a life full of behavior and obedience, that's a shame. Because it's not like I'm telling anybody you've wished away your window of opportunity, but you gotta get while the getting's good. There's no time like the motherfucking present. So, I mean, if you don't got some type of motion or you're not doing something, I mean, existence is already futile. So, what's the point of living 60, 70, 80 years and always doing what someone else tells you is the right thing? I'm not advocating for anybody to go out and cause some drama in somebody else's life, but, I mean, we gotta be a little fair and reasonable when it comes to the human experience. I mean, right now, I'm here, sitting in the studio, which you guys know is just a beautiful lake house. Winter is here, and as 420 hits on the in audio counter, I'm about to take a fat dab. You know, life can't get better. I appreciate everybody who checked into that last episode I did, the Akash Me Outside. I was bullshitting with Dave a little bit. You know, Dave, who, he fucks with Dalton, Corn Fed Podcast. Shout out to those guys. Thanks again for having me on. That shit was cool for me. Never really been asked to come on and do a guest spot. I've had other people do them. Seems like I fell in with a decent crew of people. But I think I've used this term on the pod before. It's always cautious optimism with me. You know, I want to believe everybody's got the best intentions, but Come on, you're living in the real world like me. This isn't a fucking video game where if something goes wrong, you can restart the checkpoint. Once you've made your choice, you have to accept what comes next. So I'm a little more gentle when it comes to interacting with people. And I also know the way that I come off, people might think I'm an interesting guy, and then they get to know me and they're like, oh, I don't want nothing to do with this motherfucker. And through no fault of my own, because it's not me trying to be a douche or catch anybody off guard, but I can't help that if we're having a conversation and I get into the conversation we're having, I get excited, I get passionate, I'm engaged. You know, I want eye contact. I want to be able to follow after what you laid on the table. And in my mind, that's what you want from somebody. You want to be able to communicate effectively and know that the other person actually gives a fuck about what you're saying. Because how many times are you talking to somebody and you can tell they're not interested at all, but for some reason they stay in the conversation and maintain this illusion almost as a courtesy, but it's really a discourtesy to both of you. Because if somebody doesn't respect you enough to appreciate that you see something in them worth extending the conversation, and then suddenly there's this paradigm shift, right? You can kind of feel sometimes the moment where the person who's being shitty realizes it, but almost too late as the other person completely withdraws. And you're just like, uh-oh. I guess I misread this entirely, and now I have to suffer the consequences of my actions. Fair enough. We all got it coming, kid. It happens to the best of us. And I want to hear none of that shit about, well, not me. Fuck you. It'll happen. Just wait and watch. And the people who swear up and down it won't, when you need some help, nobody's gonna be around to look out for you. Now, here's the reality of a lot of situations. Because I got told about some shit that, you know, I don't think he'd be too pissed about me sharing this. So I'm gonna drop a little story from somebody I referenced from day one. A guy who I've tried to get him to come on this pod for a while. And, you know, he's very much a Bobby Lee. In the sense that he'll be like, yeah. And then he's not there. He just disappears. He shade steps into the twilight. And there's no perceiving him in that dimension. Right? Like... But I got a little story, because I found out what's happened to my buddy. You know, he's got a troubled past. I want to say don't we all, but in his case, no. It's not even that you can say he's a victim of circumstance, but the idea that he's been in so many situations, whether it's been his choosing or not, is beyond comprehension. And yet the guy still persists. He's still here. He hasn't given up. Which, that's inspiring. That's brave, right? Isn't that what you want to see from people, that they fall but they get back up, and no matter how foolish anyone else sees it, at times they achieve greatness through their failure? You get a moment to see something so brilliant that everything else just kind of fades away in comparison, and what you thought was good is no longer that. And he and I have been able to show people that in small ways. Like, I've known this motherfucker for a long time, so it sucks that I'm not young and hip like like everybody else, but back when I was a little piece of shit, this guy and I terrorized people on video games. And I mean, like the boogeyman. I don't want to say Baba Yaga too much because I love that word, but there's certain catchphrases that even I gotta start pulling back from. I don't mind having one that I throw out and reference once in a while, but if there's one thing that it doesn't grind my gears or it's not a peeve, like I'm not Sam Morril, right? Like, I don't want to talk about my peeves and get into this big monologue about how, you know, because cars just, the drivers, they never can just look at the lights and pay attention, you know? We get it, Sam. We understand. I love you, buddy, but you and Mr. George Carlin Joke Stealer need to chill out sometimes with your perception of life, because that's one thing big names tend to forget is how to function in the real world because they're so removed from it. And that's not something I want to punish you over. Congratulations that you made millions of dollars and that you're successful. But there's so many other people who stay humble by still forcing themselves to live in the world, even though they might have assistants or managers or people that want them to have security. They're like, no, fuck off. I'm going to take the train here to here to here to here to here to here to here. Or I'm going to take the bike. And there's motherfuckers out there that they're just, that's the way that they're living, dude. They're not out here waiting for the Uber X with their 2 armed security. And you know, there's some guys out here that they don't know how to travel without an entourage. They don't know how to be alone. They gotta have a group of people around them so that they can always feel important and seen. Because that's the one side of the entourage effect that they don't really talk about too much or like to highlight, is that people don't bring groups with them because they want to look out for those individuals. It's so that they can have a bunch of people around them that knows them. It makes them seem bigger than life. And then other people who either may not know them or don't care or whatever, it might draw them in a little bit to where now he gets to feel more like a celebrity because he's got 10 or 12 people with him and they're all talking and riffing and they're comfortable in their settings. And, you know, to them, they're just acting out a scene in a movie or doing the podcast live all the time, just without cameras, and the people around them are the audience. You know what I mean? There's motherfuckers that operate like that in this life. They just see the world as a stage, and they're gonna constantly dance when they're not in their bathroom taking a shit. Because that's the only time you really get any privacy, and who knows if that's true. Who knows if when you go out, they say there's no cameras in the bathrooms, but maybe they've always had cameras in there and they just aren't telling anybody and they want you to think there aren't. And because nobody is really out there in the world checking on this shit, we can't regulate the people that are supposedly regulating things. You know? It's great to have a quality assurance team, but shouldn't there be a secondary team that keeps an eye on QA to make sure that they're properly grading shit the way it needs to be graded? And I'm not trying to be a little tightwad. I'm being honest, man. You don't want to think people are not trustworthy, but part of the reason that you have processes put into place is there are checks and balances you want to maintain to ensure the integrity of the operation so that one individual cannot bring it down. Going beyond some type of two-factor authentication, really having an accountability factor that is lost with most people. So I get general frustration in life when people don't have instantaneous access to certain shit. Where I have an issue is people, again, not being able to read the room or see the forest through the trees or get that you might be excessive and causing something that doesn't need to occur, or how things could go properly if you would just approach it differently. And I won't just bring up names in general, but it does seem disingenuous and unauthentic for certain people to have positions on shit when you are not living life. You are living celebrity. And celebrity is not life. People think that's the pinnacle of life. Sure, for some people, I get that. I really do. That if you haven't had a lot at all, the idea of having it all and never worrying, that idea makes you happy. But I've seen people get exactly what they want and not have to struggle, and then it tears them apart, and they don't know how to function in life when the support network falls apart, because you imagine yourself as this version forever. But the reason why people have nervous breakdowns or midlife crises is after 5 years, once you finally realize that you're older, or maybe somebody's died, or things are changing in a way that they weren't like this at all for a while, and now it's kind of snuck in that this is the way it's going to be, and this is as good as it will ever get, and it can only get worse from here. And that's a sinking feeling. That kind of shit will force you to figure out your entire life right now. You know what I mean? And I've known this guy for a while. Like I said, we would terrorize people on video games, and just the plays that we would make were insane. They were just insane. Just some of the shit that we would do to win, whether it was Gears of War or when we played PUBG, Apex Legends. There were quite a few games that this guy and I, like I said, if you wanted to have your own personal celebrity or whatever, that was it. Because we all go through the motions of life and see what we want to do. Stavros at one point was doing Twitch streams and shit, and my life hasn't been perfect, so I've also dabbled, and I didn't get an opportunity to do shit at one point. And then you're able to check something off the list and you say, oh, this actually isn't what I want, but it was cool to do this for a while. And so you move on and you do other shit, and now I'm doing this. But this guy, we're thick as thieves, man. I mean, I don't know how else to put it. If that's a bad way to put it, I just mean that we've got each other's backs in a way that, like, you know what I'm saying? If you guys got a friend out there who you just, no matter what happens, you're always going to be friends. That's the kind of shit I'm talking about. And hopefully a lot of you aren't stupid enough that just because shit happens, don't let that fuck up a really good friendship, whether it's a bitch or drama or whatever. Don't trip over too much shit unless it's really the end of the world. You know what I mean? But the end of the world isn't the end of the world until you've ended your world. Don't ever go strap up because your girl's cheating on you. Just accept that the broad cheated on you and go get another broad. I just saw an I'm gonna tell my homie's story, I promise, but this makes me think of an inspiring story that I just saw, where a guy comes home and the chick is cheating on him. And, like, they had a past, it could all be fabricated, but, you know, they say he helped her out with a lot of shit and then let her move in. And so she calls the police and says that he's attacking her, but he's recording the whole time. He plays the footage for them, and then they arrest her for making a false police call, which is insane. And you gotta think, like, it's good that he was protected and didn't end up, like, he didn't do anything stupid, and all he wanted her to do was leave. He's like, you gotta go. And she's on the phone saying, oh, he's attacking me. you're cheating on him, and now you're trying to manipulate to ruin his life. That's insane. That's an insane panic reflex. And now your life is ruined, bitch. Like, your life is fucking ruined. Making a false police call. What kind of dumb shit is that? Who does that? Who fucking does that, man? But, yeah, so, my homie, like I said, this guy who I've seen his highs and his lows. He just got out, if you know what I mean. And he's been doing better. But his family has turned on him in a big way. And wouldn't you know it? He was telling me, his car got towed. That's tough, man. You go through a bunch of shit, and the next thing you know, it's all over. It's all taken from you. And I'm sure he feels like he's running out of time. We are all running out of time a little bit. You know, I don't always have time to do this. I'm glad for a change I'm able to go back to back. It felt good that I was able to be consistent during Skankfest. I mean, I'm wearing the Lund hat right now. Shout out Chubby Behemoth. You know, I'm just here, one day at a time, trying to look out for my people. Again, I tried to see if my buddy wanted to hop on the pod, but he's got bigger shit to worry about. You know what I mean? We can't all bullshit like this. Because, I mean, this does take time away from my life. And when you look back and you count all the hours, you're like, yeah, that's like a day I lost on podding for almost nothing, really. And these comedians, they've given weeks of their lives to podcasts just to give some people some laughs and entertainment. And I get it, they'll have ads and stuff, like they all get commercialized eventually. And the bigger the ads get, the scarier it is, you know? Like, didn't Adam Friedland just do an ExpressVPN? Didn't he just do that? And that fucking aren't they backed by Israel? Not talking shit. I'm not anti-Semite. Don't hate me. I'm just seems a little weird. I hope I'm fucking wrong on that. But it seems a little weird that if you're one of the Free Palestine guys, you know, and you believe in, like, no genocide or whatever, that you're letting ExpressVPN do a deal with you, and you're like, oh yeah, everybody needs this. When didn't they kind of get allegedly ousted for, there's that word, shout out to Chef, didn't they allegedly, wasn't it alleged that they were like just using, like harvesting that user data to track people? You gotta stop believing in privacy. You gotta stop thinking that it's okay to, I don't know, do stupid shit, because it's not. People don't think it's real, but when you see somebody disappear over something nonsensical, yeah, that's weird. You know, if you really go and try to track the people you went to school with, let's say it's been a while since you talked to them. Go to try and track those motherfuckers down. How many of them do you think are really okay? I don't talk to nobody from my past. I don't want to spend any time dunking on people, but it's like these. It happens to everybody. You lose your people. You all just kind of fade out. And I could say some mean shit. I really could, and I was just about to. I mean it. Like, there was a part of me that was just gonna let it rip and be like, yeah, and da-da-da. But in reality, it's like, we had a good time for what it was, and it's not that I miss them, but I just remember them fondly in a way where it's like, I wish them well. Energy. Very Tim Dillon-esque. Just, but in reality, it's more of the Ben Lemon, Ace Avery, and Low-Key Costa, sad to see what you've become. That's what it actually is when I look at my old friends and I watch what we allowed ourselves to turn into. It seems like I was the last one who was really holding the torch and banner. And I'm not selling out or selling my soul, but we all gotta pivot differently, right? I'm getting kind of sick of the way that I've been for a long time. And for the first time in a while, I'm just ready to be, I don't know, this, right? I've had more fun doing these hours when I can do them than I ever had doing anything with gaming. And I don't need millions of people to come hang out or check into it. I don't. All I need is to be left alone to do what I want to do. And if people want to hang out and do it with me, that's cool. And if not, that's also okay. It's not in my control whether I can collaborate with people. But I've seen some very cool people bring me into their little circles, and yeah, I want to see what happens. Because I'm still waiting. There's like 4 or 5 podcasts I'm going to say loosely confirmed for now, because you just don't know. You get off, and that's not a jab. Like, we're 30 minutes in, so let me just be clear, that's not a jab. It's just me saying I have been loosely confirmed for like 5 podcasts. I finally found Pinky, the Pinky Pod. So I left a comment on his YouTube channel like, yeah, man, just reach out to me. I wake up for this with Blaze and Quay. And, you know, they have a lot of people already, like, they have their own shit, man. When it works, I have confidence they'll let me know. Because they interact with me, like, on every comment. So I, like, shout out to them. I've seen them on YouTube as well. I think I'm going to probably interact with them a little more on there. So yeah, if you guys know them, go check them out. Like, check out everybody I'm bringing up right now. Don't just think I'm bringing them up for no reason. Please go check them out. The Loser Cast, Leighton's new show. I was kind of like told I'd get to come on. That'd be cool. And I did tell Sweeze, like, if he wants me to come on his new pod, or if he wants to come on to This Is Comedy, he's more than welcome to. And unless there's one I'm forgetting, there could be, but I don't know. But yeah, and then I was on Corn-Fed, so it's a nice little orbit to occupy. I wouldn't mind growing the network a little more. I really want to do something with Vandal. I just get along with that guy. There's people that I want to work with, but it's easier said than done. You know, I could throw out that I'd like to open for Sam Talon, right? But even if I could open for people, I'd have to provide my own money for shit, you know? I might get paid for gigs, but you gotta think about it. You gotta get to the gig. Because these people can't just pay nobody for nothing, right? It's like, I don't want to put myself in that category, but you have to prove yourself, you have to be able to deliver, and I'm kind of just an unknown. I know I had fun with people, but yeah, there weren't a lot of people who there weren't a lot of people I didn't get along with. There were some moments where I was like, you know, I don't know how I feel about, but ultimately I liked everybody that I've met since Skankfest. And unless I'm mistaken, Lewis did just confirm the next Skank is going to be in New Orleans again. So that's really cool. I'm going to organize around that. If there's anybody who would like to join forces or collaborate, I'm looking for a collaborative effort. But I'd like to be a bigger part and help more. I know I got a lot accomplished and I introduced a lot of people to each other, and that was great. But yeah, I'm definitely trying to be as involved as I possibly can, because the 18 hours every day, you know, I'm not saying I wasn't fulfilled. It's just, dude, it's barely been a month, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah. You guys been seeing Tucker Carlson make the rounds? I can't tell if he's on damage control or he's just trying to make sure that he's still shoppable in certain markets. That Theo Vaughn interview was a little uncomfortable for me, dude. He can't keep getting away with that laugh. He sounds like a fucking insane, murderous clown. He should have played Pennywise. That'd have been great. Making Skarsgård look like nothing. That's all Tuck would have to do is do that little... Ah! That's a fucking insane little... The guy's worried about that Fuentes shit. I don't know how I feel about Fuentes. I don't even mean that I'm like teetering on support or not. I'm indifferent to all that. I don't want anything to do with a lot of people, you know? But I don't know how to feel about this guy. Everybody keeps bringing up, oh, he's a fed, or oh, he's gay. I don't think any of that matters. It could be true. Both things could be true. But I don't think that matters. There gets a point when you have put out so much information, right? When you have said weeks and weeks and weeks of things, how many people out there are actually diligent in taking all of that and collecting it in a way that when you show it to people, it's undeniable? Now, to counterpoint that, let's say you do that and nobody cares. What if the reason he gets a lot of support is because he says he's racist, or because he says he loves Hitler and Stalin? It doesn't matter if that's a good or a bad thing. And I mean that in the sense that you can have your views of what good and evil is, right? I don't think it would be good if a bunch of people adopt ideologies where you're genociding races, perpetuating certain types of stereotypes. That's not what I'm talking about at all. What I'm saying is, objectively, that's not what's important here. What's important is the rapid rate of support. And that should be the primary focus. Everybody should be looking at not if he's a bad guy, but the amount of people and the rate of succession. There is an insane level of outpourings. He just ratioed Elon Musk. That shit was funny, man. And he hid the comment for a while. Elon did. It's kind of weird. But you have to understand that it could all just be song and dance, right? I talked about this on the last episode. There are people who are very good at the long game and duping you into multiple paths before you finally take that bait inside of the cage. Don't underestimate your captors, because they're very capable of knowing how you operate. Didn't you just see Callan losing his mind on the last special he did? Which, shout out to Ben. He was roasting the shit out of that, and brother, I felt the same way about that whole trans monologue. It was just so uncomfortable. And the way that Brian Callen was like, brothers and sisters. Like, Brian, you are not the guy to say brother. Just take that one out of your fucking pocketbook. That's not a you move, man. Okay? You don't get to throw out a 7-syllable word in your set and then have the gall to say brothers and sisters. No. But oh god, that was so fucking funny. I actually forgot my point. I'm not even gonna front. Just thinking about how bad that set was and Ben roasting him. That was too good. Oh, no. I remember him going off on that rant about just all the conspiracies in life, right? And God, he roasted the fuck out of him, man. It was so good. Why would he have that long-ass monologue about trans and talk about how they're spying on you and how they know your walking pattern and shit like that. You know, like that was my point, that like you can't get away with anything anymore because they really do know what you're about. They know your function. It didn't used to be that way, but they do now. That game has changed. I remember what it was like to be young and not be in a society where it was all this Terminator shit, V for Vendetta style. You were living in a normal ass world, man. Every day felt like Field of Dreams. Well, maybe there weren't ghosts coming out of the fucking cornfields and shit. But you know what I mean? It was like the Mighty Ducks, Angels in the Outfield, fucking just this feeling, dude. Air Bud. You had a different vibe. There was a tone of warmth. Seventh Heaven. Shout out to Nick Mullen. Friends. When people would meet in a coffee shop and bitch. Now when people want to bitch, they go on Reddit or they go on X. And we're proud of that. That's what we want to look back on in 30 years and be like, hey son, look at this post I said when I called somebody a retard. Like, what the fuck? Just trying to show a 7-year-old and be like, oh, that's so cool, Dad. That's cool. Are you fucking kidding me, man? Nah, you need to have some notables. You can't talk about your achievements on Xbox. You gotta fucking... you gotta lock the fuck in. You know, you can't be 57 years old showing your 12-year-old, look son, look at my gamer score. Wow, Dad, so that's how much time you didn't spend with me. That's right, son. That's how little I gave a fuck about you. I get the fuck out of here. I gotta do a 40-hour playthrough of the new Fable. It's just dystopian. You know what I mean? But the ride down is fun. I guess that's one way to look at it, right? Crashing into other ships. And I see how people are just bouncing around, doing their own thing, not giving a fuck. Because it's hard to give a fuck when there's so much to give a fuck about. I'm a victim of it. I can only do so much as one person. You know how much trouble I've had going out to get Christmas lights? It's cold out. A motherfucker doesn't have heat in his car. Yeah, that's right. I'm Arthas. My car is Frostmourne, and it hungers. And I drive my chilly ass in the icebox. A decent distance, let's just put it that way. And you try to be economic when it comes to how you touch and go with life. I'm sure everybody wishes it could be like the old days where each day is an adventure. But hey, I hate to tell you this, but it's not. It's not, buddy. Not when you get to a certain point. The fun has to slow down, and you have to play the game. You know, I had to go after work on my Fridays, as we call it, in the fucking slave sector. 'Cause yeah, I'm not rich. I'm not cool enough to not have to hold it down to be able to take care of my shit. That's just how it is. So I go, and I thought I grabbed enough shit, and I just didn't. Because I wanted to finally do a lot. I wanted to do the outdoor shit, and yeah, the tree that I was working on outside, it's short. I need to go get more lights. But it looks cool. What I have on it looks cool. And I went and decorated the little deck that I have. And the tree looks great. My dad found a dope one. Because as you guys know, I'm taking care of my family. Sam Talent, he was it came up organically, but he was asking me about like my life a little bit, like what I do and shit. And yeah, I told him about that, and he kind of, I don't know, you know, comedians like to have riffable moments, but that was a moment where, like, in between all the fun I did have with that guy, I'm not acting like I was in his sector hanging out with him every second, but the moments he was willing to spare with me, because I told you, I hung out with him and Mullen on and off for like an hour at different points in the whole event total, which was really nice. And I know there's people who barely got 2 minutes of time with them, so lucky my bitch ass. And yeah, he was just very wholesome with me when I talked about what I got going on and what I'm dealing with. And yep, taking care of Pop Pop. So big respect to him, man. Because again, he'll interact with me on X. Shout out to Lewis. He interacts with me on X. Like, I appreciate that I have a couple guys who even give me the time of day. It's nice. I'm not trying to get anything from you guys. You know, that's not my game. I've seen how all that shit plays out. You want to be happy about how it happened. You want something to be organic. You want somebody to see something in you and take a moment to be happy on your behalf, not feel intruded upon because you think you deserve to be happy, or no. A lot of shit is give and take. You gotta be fair. Isn't it crazy the amount of people that don't know how to do that anymore? Why are you bitching at people who have done a lot? Not for you specifically, but for people. And they're not bad people. They're not out here doing terrible shit. Sure, you could say something about them, but focus your attention on the right places. I don't think comedians are the bad guys here. Not in my eyes. I see a lot of pieces of shit every fucking day. There's people out there that will intentionally wait at a stop sign or a light, even though they can turn, just so they can turn and then make it impossible for you to go after. You know, if there's another line of cars coming, they could go and then you could squeeze in safely. But no, they'll wait and they'll like pull out so that that convoy has to come to a crazy stop, even if there's snow out, and they'll jeopardize everything to do the dumbest fucking thing imaginable. And it just blows you away. Doesn't make any fucking sense. People ride your ass with their brights on. Why? What are you doing? Where is your head at? Every fucking day, imagine just, oh, I'm gonna turn my brights on and try and make people crash. I'm gonna turn my high bars on. It's just, come on, man. That shit ain't right, baby. Patreon.com/This Is Comedy. Glad I could give you another episode. Again, maybe we'll see you next week. Maybe we won't. We'll roll the dice, see how it goes. Maybe I'll be able to wrangle a guest finally. No promises. I like riffing with somebody. It's fun to just kind of do this solo shit. I'm used to it. But bringing somebody into the dynamic, you just have a better time. It's better for the audience. I have this idea I want to kind of run with, and I'll say it on the pod now. Like, I don't care about spoiling the idea. And I'm not saying that it hasn't been done, but I don't see a podcast where when guests come on, it's more than one person every time. And I would be interested to bring two comedians I like together to do a podcast spot. If you wanted to know my dream pick, it would be Nick Mullen and Sam Hyde. Because I asked Nick about that personally. I was like, how come, I know you guys have stuff out there, but like, will you guys do more stuff together? And Nick was honest, he's like, oh no, we're friends. I was like, no, I understood. It was just letting him know that the dynamic is so good. I've always been surprised why they don't have more shit out there together. And a lot of it's time. Time, not being able to coordinate shit, which that's a tough answer too, because you gotta think, time is so loose. But I get it. Look at me. I can't even stay consistent every week. Love you, motherfuckers.